Hey everybody, and welcome back to Northwest Craftsman. If you couldn't tell by the title of this episode, we're going to be talking about a very common issue with mechanical planers, which is snipe. We're going to be talking about what causes snipe, kind of show you what the snipe looks like on my planer, and then we're going to try to adjust my planer so that we can get rid of it, and hopefully you can get rid of yours as well. Alright, let's get started. Alrighty, so just in case you haven't seen it before, a mechanical planer works by feeding in your piece of lumber underneath a rotating blade. And the way that it feeds that lumber in, I don't know if you guys can see this alright, is with two rollers. So you've got one roller right here. Let me see if I can adjust the white balance for you. Alright, so I just added a little bit of extra light so we can actually see what's going on under here. But you'll notice that there are two rollers. You get one roller here, the leading roller, and another roller over here, the trailing roller. And then in between the two, I'm going to be careful with my hand in here, is the blade. Now the blade itself is the thing that spins around and actually ends up taking the cuts out of here, but it's these rollers that are the thing that feed it through at a consistent speed. When you're feeding your workpiece through here, it's really important that it stays level and that the distance between the rollers and the bed are consistent across, which Dewalt does a really good job making sure they line up in here. But that doesn't mean that your workpiece can't get torqued around depending on its own weight, other stuff that's happening on the outside. And the really susceptible places for a workpiece are when you're only on one roller. So when I come in here and I'm only making contact with one roller, I have a pivot point right here that the workpiece that can come across. So it can come up, it can come down, and what that does is right here where the cutter blade is, this is the guard, but right behind here where the cutter blade is, it changes the level across the surface that it cuts. So your two susceptible places are when you come in, and for me, it's when you're leaving and you're only on the trailing edge. Now the problem that I'm running into with snipe on my trailing edge is that this guy tilts down, which brings my workpiece further up into the cutter, and you get something that looks like this. This may not seem like much, but if you look at this line that comes right across here, you can feel it when you move your finger across it, and it's probably a 64th of an inch or so, but it definitely creates a visual striation, and that's because when my workpiece is coming out, it drops down, which brings this portion up into the cutter head. So this is when I am leaving the front roller and I'm only on the back, that this piece is under the cutter head and the rest of this goes through here. So the workpiece that I have here is a little bit older, and I want to make sure that the snipe I have on there is still present and showing in the same way before I make any adjustments to my planer. But what I think I'm going to have to end up doing is adjusting the outfeed tray right here so that it supports the piece of wood more consistently, or the workpiece more consistently as it's coming out. But let's go ahead and give it a shot and see if that snipe still exists. Well, looking at the trailing edge of this guy, I'm not seeing the same snipe that I saw previously on there, so I'm going to try and send a couple more sides through and see if we can't find that snipe again. Alrighty, so one of the things that I think I'm starting to notice is that it's not so much having to do with where the feed rollers are, but how heavy of a cut that I'm taking, or the cut heaviness is exacerbating the snipe issue. So I'm going to try and run this through, because there's still just a teeny tiny bit of snipe right here, but I want to try running it through at a 32nd, a 16th, 3/32 and an eighth, and see how big of a difference that makes on the snipe. Alrighty guys, so I'm a little bit flabbergasted here. I've just run a whole bunch of passes over the top of this guy, some with snipe, some without snipe, and honestly, like, you can see in the light that there's some snipe on this guy, but from a physical touch standpoint, it's barely even noticeable. I'm going to try adjusting the infeed outfeed plates a little bit to see if I can make a difference on this, but sometimes it goes through with snipe, sometimes it goes through without snipe, and frankly I don't even know if adjusting my infeed outfeed plates is going to make a difference on this. So I'll try it a little bit, see if I see anything, see if I see any patterns, and I'll share with you what I find in a second. Oh, ha 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 guys, I think I found it. Okay, so it was only on the outfeed side that I had snipe, and when I was trying to run this piece of wood through here, just trying to check to see where it was coming off of the infeed outfeed and the main base support, I couldn't find anything. It wasn't really reacting redirecting. So I got out my long level that can feed all the way through, and what I noticed is that on the outfeed side, you've got that much movement, which is probably plenty for Snipe to exist at the level that it does right now. So what I'm going to do is try and increase these guys up just a little bit so that it supports this backside, because what that would mean is that as my lumber's coming through and it becomes unsupported after releasing from the first roller, the inside roller or the infeed roller, is that it's going to drop down to be supported by this rack, which is going to push the backside up into there, into the cutter, which is exactly the pattern we see. Let's see if we can't fix that. Well, that didn't do it. Still got Snipe right here. Let's see what else we can do. Well, it looks like that just about did it. There's still a teeny tiny bit of Snipe, but I can try and fine tune that. I think what I'm probably going to have a bigger issue with is all of this pitting and I think grain directionality, and you can actually see some spots where my knives are causing grooves right here. Here's a big long one that you can see coming across it. So I'm going to see if I can't figure that out, but for now, I'm going to consider the Snipe problem solved. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. So the big lessons that I learned from this is that it all has to do with supporting your workpiece on the infeed and the outfeed part of your table. If you have Snipe on the leading part of your workpiece as it comes out, that means that you're not supporting it on the front end. And if you have Snipe on the back side of your workpiece, it means you're not supporting it on the back end, so as it comes out. Adjust your infeed and outfeed tables appropriately to try and get that well supported all the way through. And you may, depending on how long your workpiece is, you may need to get something outside of just the generic infeed outfeed table so that you can appropriately support your workpiece. But those are some of the lessons that I learned today. I know that this episode was a little bit weird because it's like as I'm diagnosing and as I'm troubleshooting, I'm not telling you right up front what exactly you need to do, because frankly, I don't know what exactly I need to do. I'm just trying to figure this out as I go. So if you guys have better ways that you can adjust for Snipe, compensate for Snipe, or just work around having Snipe on your workpieces, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be really interested to see what you guys have to say. Other than that, thanks for joining me. If you guys like the videos that I'm putting out and you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you are already subscribed, thank you for being here. Absolutely love seeing the kind of stuff that you guys are putting on the page, comments and otherwise questions. If you guys have projects that you want to see, go ahead and let me know. I am constantly planning and trying to figure out what the next episodes are going to be, and I've got a couple months planned out, but we shall see where things go. All right, thank you guys. This should be posting on Saturday morning, so enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope you have a productive and great one. Here in the Pacific Northwest, it is absolutely gorgeous right now. I am just dying with happiness. I love it when we get into springtime in Oregon, because we get through kind of the rainy months and it gets better. All right, thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it, and I'll see you next weekend. Bye.